Stick with me here. We are about to witness my CEO Fiancée pull the ultimate betrayal. Out of nowhere, she dragged us into a night meeting, claiming I ruined the vibe, just to snatch my entire monthly salary away. And the absolute worst part, she immediately turned around and gifted a $1 million luxury car to her shiny new assistant right in front of me. The whole room stared with pure pity. They totally thought I was about to completely lose my mind. Instead, I casually packed up my desk like a pro escaping a trap, and slammed my resignation letter straight down onto her table. Bullying me and stealing my pay? That is just not enough, I said. I am officially quitting. Before the echo even faded, that brand new assistant, Hunter, jumped in to interrupt. James, how can you just bail over something so incredibly small? You have been here forever, and CEO Olivia always treats you so well. If you leave now, it ruins her reputation. Olivia immediately tried to talk me out of leaving. Initially, Olivia totally looked like she wanted me to stay, but after hearing Hunter speak, her massive ego took over. Talk him out of it? Why would I bother? If he wants out, let him go. I have done absolutely nothing wrong here. I am not scared of rumors. She aggressively snatched my resignation paper, signed it with flair, and tossed it right at me. Now pay attention here. The whole office was watching, waiting for some massive drama, but I did not even argue like I normally would. Moving with absolute peace, I scooped the paper off the floor. I will head out right after I pass off my projects. Skip the handover. If you want to disappear, then leave right this second. Olivia angrily pointed straight at the exit. Then, as if an idea suddenly struck her, she coldly added, since you are voluntarily quitting, you get absolutely no severance pay. Seeing this absolute mess, some close friends stepped forward, begging me to just swallow my pride, say sorry, and avoid acting impulsively. Every single one of them knew that Olivia and I built this entire company completely from scratch. Years ago, when we were completely broke, I endlessly partied with clients until I literally passed out, all to secure major investments. Whenever we missed targets, I led our team, pushing through all-nighters for 3 days straight. I poured my heart, sweat, and absolute soul into every project. Leaving meant throwing away everything I ever created, but my mind was totally made up. I waved my final goodbye, grabbed my small box, and turned to walk away. Right before stepping out, I caught a flash of deep emotion in Olivia's gaze. I totally knew she thought I was just bluffing. We had argued so many times over Hunter in the past. The absolute worst was when she humiliated me publicly, handing him my entire yearly bonus just to make him feel better. I was so insanely furious that I threatened to quit. But right when I almost left, I completely swallowed my pride, acting like nothing happened. I sweet-talked her again, working like that whole nightmare was a shared illusion. She definitely assumed I would simply force myself to endure her nonsense this time around, too. Let that sink in for a second. She never realized my patience was completely gone. Right as I stepped outside, a text suddenly popped up. I quickly opened it, seeing a large bank transfer from my buddy. That morning, Olivia claimed the business was failing and needed my pay. Constantly worrying about her stress, I had instantly contacted my friend to secretly borrow $500,000 to save her. I fully planned to hand it over, but then I stumbled onto Hunter's social media. Seeing her real intentions hit me exactly like a freezing bucket of ice water. Yet, right then, I just felt so strangely peaceful. Zero heartbreak, and absolutely no blinding jealousy. Maybe it was because this exact thing happened repeatedly. Olivia had pulled so many insane stunts for Hunter that I genuinely started wondering if her actual boyfriend was me, or just that guy. I immediately wired the cash right back to my friend with a quick thanks. Hitting the garage, I walked over to the beaten-up car I had driven for 5 years. The sad paint was literally peeling off in huge chunks. Parked right beside it was a super shiny, brand new Porsche. The exact same ride Olivia gifted Hunter today. There were endless empty spots around, but he purposely parked right by my total junker as an incredibly bold, disrespectful provocation against me. I gave 5 years to Olivia, yet I could not even compete with Hunter, who had barely been around for 10 short months. Laughing at myself, I did not hesitate for another second. I slammed the gas, finally ditching the company I slaved over for so many years. Hilariously, the exact moment I pulled out of those gates, someone smashed into me. I jumped out just in time to see Olivia and Hunter stepping out together. "James, why in the world did you suddenly slam on your brakes?" Before I could even understand the chaos, Hunter stormed up, looking absolutely heartbroken at his dented new luxury ride. What a total tragedy. CEO Olivia personally picked this for me. Her face instantly darkened. "James, I saw you staring at his car. Did you do this on purpose?" "Trust me, and I know this gets way crazier. Stick with me. This drama is absolutely wild." Hunter claims I slammed the brakes for revenge. Honestly, I almost burst out laughing, just blindly pointing fingers and dumping the blame on me. Hunter lets out this super dramatic sigh. "Never mind, Olivia, it's not blame James. He lost his position because of me, so of course, he is angry. At the end of the day, it is totally my fault. If only I paid more attention." As he says this, he balls his hand into a tight fist, pretending to punch his own forehead. But right before impact, he completely relaxes his hand. Olivia, naturally, misses his incredibly terrible acting. She gently rubs his forehead, completely doting on him. "This has nothing to do with you. Stop taking the blame for absolutely everything." Then she fiercely points a finger right at me. "Could you try learning a thing or two from Hunter? Take some real responsibility. He actually knows how to be humble. You have worked for years. How are you still so incredibly childish and arrogant today?" She shoves me against the wall. Once I finally regain my balance, I find this entire situation hilarious. Over the past year, Hunter stole my credit, played dirty little tricks, and framed me. Now, he is the humble hero, and I am the childish bad guy. Too lazy to waste any more breath, I turn to leave. Olivia blocks my path again. I expect more Hunter defense, but surprisingly, she pulls me completely aside and starts giving me a long lecture. "I had really high expectations for you, which is why I am strict. Why can you not understand my good intentions?" Hearing her gentle tone, I feel briefly confused, but I quickly figure out her game. Olivia pats my shoulder. "I will cancel your resignation. Think it over carefully, then go apologize to Hunter. Also, you are taking total responsibility for this crash. Whatever those repair costs are, transfer that exact amount to Hunter. Now watch this closely. It all makes perfect sense." I glance at Hunter. He totally knew what Olivia would say. His face is super smug, shooting me a wildly provocative side-eye. I sneer right back. "I'm paying nothing. The authorities can totally investigate whose fault this crash really is. Unhappy? Call the cops. Anything else to add? Fantastic. I am out." I turn on my heel and march away. Behind me, Olivia stomps her foot in pure anger. "I gave you a chance. Do not regret this." "Oh, I definitely will not." I get right back into my car and text my buddy. "I quit. I can start at your company tomorrow." Not even half a second later, he calls me, sounding totally shocked. "Are you serious?" He hesitates, sounding very unsure. "What about Olivia?" Back in the day, my buddy and Olivia started their own businesses at exactly the same time. My friend has massive resources and offers truly fantastic perks. He promises me equity and a way higher profit cut, practically begging me to help out. Even after discovering my relationship with Olivia, he broke the rules and offered me the amazing vice president position. But I turned him down because during my absolute lowest moment, Olivia was the one who saved me. For her, basically gave up everything, dedicating myself entirely to her career, helping her company grow into a massive powerhouse. You and I both know she could not care less. After all these years, I have more than repaid my giant debt of gratitude to her. There is zero need to keep hurting myself anymore. No, I do not need to ask her. I can make my very own decisions, I replied. After chatting and setting a solid time to sign the contract, I drive straight home to pack. I totally paid for this entire house myself, but every single inch is deeply crammed with lingering memories of my pending marriage to Olivia. I refuse to stay here for another minute. I start by completely clearing out under the bed. I find a huge bunch of paintings. The girl in the portraits is Olivia, sometimes looking mysterious, sometimes peeling an apple, sometimes doing her makeup. They are all beautiful pieces I painted for her. She used to absolutely love them, treating each one like a rare treasure, carefully framing and storing them safely. But since Hunter entered the picture, she started complaining that painting took way too much time, and that snapping photos was honestly just better. Eventually, these paintings ended up shoved under the bed. The paper is yellowed and fragile. The beautiful portraits have faded. I let out a freeing laugh, toss them right into the bathtub, and strike a match. The bright flames swallow the artwork until nothing is left but ash. Just like our old romance, burned to absolutely nothing while we were not even paying attention. After that, I decisively toss out anything else that belongs in the trash. I actually do not have much stuff, but the apartment suddenly feels incredibly spacious and fresh. I throw myself onto the sofa, grab my phone, and start looking for an apartment near my buddy's company. Opening my phone, I immediately see Hunter posting a cheerful selfie with Olivia right in the main company group chat. The background is a bright arcade. Olivia holds a massive pile of plushies, smiling radiantly at the camera. Her joy is totally blinding. I have not seen her smile like that in a very long time. I took her there once, but she just called me childish and left. Honestly, we can both agree that walking away was my best move. Let us dive in together. She claimed she was too busy to play silly games with me. She magically had zero time for my fun activities, but always had plenty for Hunter. I just laughed it off. To her, I was just immature. Meanwhile, our cheerful chat group exploded with sweet compliments, totally praising Olivia's stunning looks and the mysterious photographer's amazing camera skills. One bubbly friend even teased them about sharing happy news soon. Everyone fully knew I was Olivia's faithful fiancé, yet they cheerfully joked around anyway. But why? Because Olivia simply never hid her uniquely mysterious connection with Hunter at the office. The dramatic old me would have instantly called her up, demanding strict boundaries. But right now, I surprisingly felt completely peaceful, strong, and totally at ease. I cheerfully ignored the drama and happily continued my exciting apartment hunt. But mysteriously, 2 minutes later, I refreshed our chat and noticed multiple messages were suddenly deleted. Even Hunter's original picture magically vanished. I completely assumed Olivia would return late, but shockingly, she soon strolled right into our living room, joyfully chatting on the phone with Hunter. Catching my eye, she initially looked quite guilty, but her beautiful expression quickly turned dramatic. She dramatically tossed me a stern glare and playfully pushed the bedroom door open. I clearly knew she just wanted me to come and sweet talk her. Whenever she felt upset at work, I enthusiastically did absolutely everything possible to apologize and win back her bright smile. Even if she made a funny mistake, I stayed strong and bravely took the blame. I used to genuinely think I owed her completely, trying my absolute best to keep our romantic spark perfectly alive. But today, my decisive heart just felt completely exhausted. Staying silent, I casually kept my eyes glued to my fun phone screen. A few minutes later, she marched outside, looking quite dramatic. "Did you catch those group messages?" "What messages?" I cheerfully asked back, totally knowing her little secret, but refusing to even look up. I practically heard her dramatic sigh of total relief. "Oh, nothing, just some silly work updates mistakenly sent to our wrong chat. Now watch closely." I just smiled, too lazy to expose her silly fib. It really makes us wonder how many fun little secrets she and Hunter were secretly hiding from me all along. Hunter finally fixed his car. "Did you fix yours yet?" Since I stayed delightfully quiet, Olivia eagerly spoke. I brilliantly knew this was her subtle little signal, gracefully offering me an easy way to reconnect. Previously, I would have felt incredibly relieved by her forgiveness and cheerfully ran right over. But this time, incisive spirit kept my confident head facing completely downwards. That ride was always a junker. Why even fix it? Olivia dramatically frowned. "What exactly do you mean?" I finally glanced up, genuinely puzzled about her sudden mysterious frustration. Honestly, my funny old car had been wildly scratched up before. Whenever I excitedly mentioned repairing it, she cheerfully repeated those exact words. That thing is just a quirky junker, so what is the point? I seriously expected a dramatic explosion, but instead, she gently sighed. I know that shiny company car situation bothers you, but Hunter is doing some truly fantastic work. Gifting him that epic car simply retains top office talent. Hearing this funny excuse, I practically burst out laughing. Olivia mysteriously broke every rule just to recruit Hunter. His actual professional skills were hilarious, and his silly blunders completely overflowed past two full hands. Mildly speaking, he would delightfully sip sweet boba while serving our VIP clients plain, boring water. Dramatically speaking, he accidentally emailed our secret cost sheet to partners instead of quotes, hilariously costing this upbeat company hundreds of thousands in wild losses. Keeping his talent was literally less useful than a puppy. Are you buying this? Because if I didn't know this lively company so perfectly, I might believe her. I smiled. She added, "You're my fiancé. Soon everything will be yours anyway. Why act so seriously over some minor salary details? Why mysteriously keep comparing your fantastic self to Hunter? Listen, James, everything I cheerfully do benefits our company. I simply avoid letting colleagues think I am playing favorites." I strongly knew this whole speech was a hilarious excuse. Everyone at work plainly saw how differently Olivia gracefully treated me versus her precious Hunter. I would creatively spend 3 sleepless nights finishing projects, only for her to magically award them to Hunter. He simply made a colorful presentation, and suddenly it became his epic achievement. I would decisively negotiate amazing deals for days. Then she joyfully brought Hunter to their fancy dinner under my respected name, and miraculously, that huge contract magically became his glorious win. Wild situations like this were countless. Eventually, our entire lively office believed Olivia heavily favored Hunter or mysteriously disliked me. Because of that silly drama, I bravely endured countless strange side eyes and dramatic office bullying moments. She clearly noticed everything, but cheerfully looked completely away. I stayed decisively quiet, because explaining anything meant she would just claim I was creating silly excuses. I offered a beautifully strong response. You do not need to explain this. I have nothing to do with your lively company anymore. Just delightfully do whatever you want. Olivia mysteriously silenced. Finally, she dramatically sighed, confidently walked over, stood on her delicate tiptoes, and wrapped warm arms happily around my neck. Actually, I was just being a slightly selfish girl here. She smiled, telling me to rest up and plan our joyful wedding. What a wild story we just witnessed. When will I propose to her? Let's dive right into some wild drama. She smiled softly, but my previous proposals always ended in brutal rejections and truly awful, explosive fights. Now, she playfully used marriage like a shiny new toy. Honestly, I felt less like her actual boyfriend and more like a little lapdog kept around for pure amusement. I stayed totally silent while Olivia scratched my chin like a literal pet. Stop being mad. Give me a smile. She leaned in close, deliberately trying to flatter me with a sweet kiss, but suddenly caught a sharp whiff of cologne on her. That familiar scent definitely belonged to Hunter. My stomach completely churned. I forcefully shoved her away, frowned in pure discomfort, and quickly grabbed a wet wipe to clean my hands. Olivia froze in place, looking totally shocked by my reaction. You are disgusted by me. I have to go out later anyway. I am going to change clothes right now. Finishing my sentence, I instantly turned and hit the bedroom. Olivia quickly tried to follow, but I slammed the door right in her face. You are so incredibly annoying, James. Do not dare regret this. She was genuinely furious this time around. Olivia threw out a super harsh threat, kicked the bedroom door, and stormed off. By the time I came out, the room was empty. Now pay attention here. Olivia cheerfully messaged the company chat to treat everyone to a nice dinner, asking who wanted to join. Only absolute crickets. Total silence from everyone except Hunter, who spammed 3 gleeful emojis in a row. I totally knew she was doing this to piss me off. This definitely was not the very first time. Whenever she pulled this little stunt, nobody else wanted to go. Only Hunter was ever eager. Before, I would have gotten fiercely jealous and followed them, only to get mocked later. But right now, I honestly could not care any less. I changed clothes and checked out a new rental apartment. Everything looked perfectly fine, so I quickly paid the deposit. Then, I contacted an agent to sell my current home. I was the one who originally bought this place and beautifully designed the renovations myself. However, the actual property deed was totally signed under Olivia's name. We barely had any cash back then. To give her real security, emptied my entire savings for this house. Now that the company is incredibly huge, she probably would not even bat an eye at it. The agent stated that Olivia needed to be present to sell it. Without time, she needed to sign a power of attorney. I tried messaging her, but a big red exclamation mark popped up. She had completely blocked me. Absolute classic Olivia. Every time we had a massive, unresolvable fight, she would completely block me and storm out. I used to worry about her safety, pathetically borrowing other phones to call her and desperately begging her to unblock me. She would act like total royalty on the phone, demanding to know my mistakes. Looking back, I told countless awful lies against my conscience just to soothe her giant ego. After some deep thought, I still gave her a call. Come home tonight. We have things to discuss. What is it? I am very busy. Olivia sounded incredibly ice cold. I pursed my lips. We will talk when you return. You push me away, and now you snap your fingers, expecting me to come running like a loyal dog. I know what you are thinking. She sneered, asking if she owed me something, or if this was my pathetic idea of an apology. Did you forget how to beg for forgiveness? Like the old days, I lowered my voice and quietly said, I am sorry. I was wrong. I had apologized countless times before anyway. One more time would not hurt. Plus, this fake apology was going to buy me my house back. Hearing it, Olivia's tone brightened significantly. Wait for me right there. She hung up immediately. I felt incredibly calm. I listed the house online, intentionally dropping the price so it would definitely sell faster. After finishing that up, I contacted Ben to sign my new employment contract. Ben was buzzing with excitement, asking repeatedly if he was dreaming right now. He even set up a giant celebration dinner. I originally planned to go home early, but considering I had absolutely no idea when Olivia would actually show up, I happily agreed to go. After having a few drinks, I went to the restroom. Walking back, I suddenly heard a very familiar voice from the private room next door. I completely stopped in my tracks. Through the slightly ajar door, I saw Olivia nestled tightly inside Hunter's arms. I could not hear everything, but Olivia was laughing so incredibly hard that her shoulders literally shook. Hunter totally seized the opportunity, swiftly lowering his head to kiss her lips. Olivia froze for a brief second, but she never pushed away. Olivia, when are you and James finally going to break up? I cannot wait to be with you anymore. Do you know how much it actually hurts seeing you with him every day? Do you still like him more than me? Hunter whined so petulantly. Olivia opened her mouth to speak, but ultimately just comforted him instead, gently patting his back exactly like a fussy toddler. How could he ever compare to you in my heart? It is just that the company is big now. If I break up and immediately get with you, people will totally gossip and ruin your reputation. Just wait a little longer for me, okay? I knew you loved me. Trust me, we are not ready for what is next. Stick with me. We are diving into an insane drama. They leaned in close, acting like star-crossed lovers. I just scoffed, turned away, and headed straight back to my own room. I tossed back a few more drinks while everyone hyped up our old memories. We partied hard until the sun almost came up. Down in the parking garage, Ben literally dragged me over to a ridiculously flashy, top-tier Porsche. He asked if I liked it. Confused, I just nodded. Thought it was his new ride. Before I could even praise it, Ben suddenly shoved the keys right into my hand. He claimed my old ride was basically an ancient fossil. He absolutely hated seeing it. So he just bought me this beauty. I tried refusing, but he totally saw my reaction coming. Honestly, Olivia just bought a fancy car for that new guy. His skills are absolute garbage, yet he gets a luxury ride. You definitely cannot look worse than him. Speaking of which, I have seen his work. His art style fluctuates so incredibly, wildly. It is clearly totally copied. I have zero idea how he remains employed. Maybe the alcohol was talking, but Ben had zero problem roasting Hunter to my face. I stayed totally silent. He was absolutely right. My team and I actually finished those entire projects ourselves. But right before completion, Olivia always completely forced us to hand our files straight over to Hunter. That is exactly why Hunter's style was so wildly inconsistent. Even Ben noticed the massive problem instantly. Yet Olivia stayed completely clueless. I cannot accept this gift, I strongly insisted. Ben faked being super mad. I am not gifting this. It comes straight out of your paycheck, buddy. Stop wasting my awesome intentions. I just laughed, completely speechless. If he actually deducted this insane price from my tiny paycheck, I would literally be working for free for years. I knew it was just his sneaky excuse to gift it. Now pay close attention, because things get wild here. I thanked him, and we headed home. I honestly thought Olivia would still be completely gone. But shockingly, the second I opened that door, she was sitting right on the living room sofa. Where did you go? Did we not agree to meet up? Do you know how incredibly long I waited? She angrily demanded. I was surprised. Usually, hanging out with Hunter kept her out until 3 or 4 am. Coming home this incredibly early was an ultra-rare event. Just remembering the awful scene of those two kissing inside that private room made me physically sick. I was just out eating with a buddy, I stated, stepping into the room and pulling the power of attorney document from my bag. Before I could even take 2 steps, Olivia abruptly blocked my path with a frown. You actually drank? Did I not forbid you from drinking without me? No way, I replied, completely unable to hide a cold smirk. You mean I'm only allowed to drink when helping you charm your clients? I stayed silent. Olivia apparently connected some invisible dots, suddenly flashing a super smug smile. You are still super mad that I hung out with Hunter, right? If you hate us spending time alone, just say it. There is absolutely no need to drink yourself silly. You are totally overthinking. My drinks have absolutely zero to do with either of you. I grabbed a chair, sat right down, and slid the power of attorney toward her. We both know what happens next. Take a look. Olivia raised one eyebrow, her voice practically dripping with arrogance. A guarantee letter? Let me tell you, apologizing now is way too late. I'm still furious about today. These little tricks will not earn my forgiveness. Seeing her act so incredibly triumphant, I just found it hilarious. It is completely true that before, whenever I angered her, I would bend over backward to make her smile, even writing actual, literal letters of guarantee. Thinking back, yeah, she was totally wrong. But I was the foolish guy who voluntarily handed my dignity over on a silver platter just for her. This is not a guarantee letter, I said casually. Olivia raised an eyebrow. Oh, now I am curious. Right as she was about to open the document, her phone loudly rang. Checking the caller ID, her eyes instantly lit up. Wait a second, I need to take this. She answered it. Boss. Olivia, I was driving and accidentally hit someone. What do I do? I am so terrified. Hunter's pathetic, whining voice echoed through the speaker. Olivia's face instantly tensed. Send me your exact location. I will be right there. She jumped up, completely disregarding my existence. I took 2 quick steps, blocking her path, pushing that document closer to her. Handle my business first. This desperately needs your signature and it is extremely urgent. Olivia paused, looking up at me and sighing heavily. James, show some empathy. His situation is a total emergency. Acting like this, fighting for my attention like some jealous child, is incredibly ugly. I just laughed out loud. I am ugly? What about Hunter driving completely drunk? I could not be bothered arguing. I just firmly tapped the document near her hand, showing zero intention of taking it back. Olivia did not say another single word. She immediately flipped to the last page without checking anything. "Trust me, watch what happens." Before reading anything, Hunter shrieked, "Why hit me?" Olivia yelled, "Do not worry, I'm on my way." Olivia comforted Hunter, quickly scribbling her name on that final page. Grabbing her heels, she practically sprinted out the front door. "Stick with me here." I watched her panic and asked, "Aren't you even reading what you just signed?" She scoffed. "What is there to check? What surprises could you even bring? It is just some boring minor contract. If you check the terms, it is fine." She marched right out, never even glancing back. I found that hilarious. Back then, to make her smile, secretly secured huge business partnerships. Initially, she was overjoyed, but as the company expanded, she began looking down on those same small businesses she once begged for a chance. Whenever I brought contracts home, she would obsess over every single clause, completely terrified of hidden loopholes. Yet now, just because she worried about Hunter, she did not care at all what she signed. That worked out beautifully though, saving me so much unnecessary hassle. Olivia never came home that entire night, and during that time, Hunter spammed me with an endless text barrage. "James, I know you saw us outside the private room today, but you must realize by now Olivia always belongs to me. One phone call, and she literally drops everything to rush to my side. You should step away gracefully while you still can. Otherwise, things will become incredibly awkward and embarrassing for everyone involved." I just laughed out loud. Hunter completely dropped his fake, innocent act. But sending these messy screenshots to Olivia would honestly be completely useless anyway. She would not even care. She spoiled him way too much. Even seeing his bold provocation, she would just accuse me of creating drama between them. But I am definitely not nice enough to let him constantly mock me without firing back. Huge congratulations. But if the day ever comes when Olivia gets completely sick of you, remember your own advice and back out gracefully. Watch closely here. That text lacked real bite, but the second I hit send, Hunter absolutely felt that sting. Sure enough, he went totally silent. I went to sleep early. The next morning, I forwarded that signed legal document right to the agent. By that very afternoon, a potential buyer arrived to view the house. The guy absolutely loved the location, layout, and price. His only hesitation was my massive rush to sell. Why offer a house this insanely good for so incredibly cheap? Is something wrong with it? He asked super cautiously. I just gave him the quick summary. I bought this exact house for my upcoming wedding, but we officially called off the engagement. He immediately shot me a highly sympathetic look. The yard and decor clearly cater directly to a woman. Selling it is definitely for the best, leaving you with far less emotional baggage. I stayed completely quiet. Olivia was insanely picky about houses. It took me 3 full months and hundreds of viewings to finally find this place. Even the interior design was entirely focused on her preferences. I finally realized my entire life had revolved totally around her for years. Thankfully, the buyer was incredibly decisive and ready to move forward. By evening, we signed the contract, scheduling the official handover for 2 days later. Coincidentally, I was also fully moving out in 2 days. Returning home right after signing the papers, the very first thing I spotted was a random pair of men's dress shoes sitting by the door. My usual comfy slippers were totally missing. I knew exactly what was happening here. Grabbing some basic disposable hotel slippers, I casually strolled right inside. Entering, I instantly heard Hunter speaking loudly. "CEO Olivia, you are doing it all wrong. Just let me teach you." I quietly walked to the kitchen doorway and saw those two standing extremely close by the sink. "You and I both know this glitch." Hunter hugged her from behind, holding hands in a super intimate pose. Wearing my personal loungewear and slippers, he shamelessly played the man of the house. Olivia wore the matching couple set, showing zero discomfort at his extreme physical proximity. They looked incredibly relaxed and happy, laughing cheerfully about whatever nonsense. Normally, if I got even slightly close to her while she cooked, she would endlessly complain about not being used to it. She always claimed she disliked physical touch. But looking at this cozy scene, Was I the only one she constantly pushed away? I let out a loud scoff. Olivia inexplicably spun around at that exact moment. Seeing me, she instantly froze, quickly wriggling out of his arms, looking completely caught. "Why are you back at this hour?" I found her panic absolutely hilarious. So, simply being in my own house was a problem now? "Sorry, James. This is just how I naturally wash vegetables back home. Please do not misunderstand," Hunter smirked. His words sounded somewhat apologetic, but his eyes were completely full of pure, smug scrutiny. He looked like he was desperately praying for me to completely break down in jealous rage. The old me would have instantly exploded, fought Olivia, and screamed at Hunter to get out. But I was totally used to it, and thankfully I was leaving soon anyway. The house was officially sold, the deposit resting perfectly in my bank account. I honestly could not be bothered anymore. "You guys look busy. I will head to my room." I spoke calmly and walked toward the bedroom. Hunter looked completely stunned, eyes flashing with absolute confusion. "Trust me, you will love this." They totally braced for anger, completely misunderstanding my calm reaction. "Stick with me here." Seeing my total chill, her fake act completely broke as she awkwardly explained. "It is Hunter's birthday. He really wanted to celebrate, so I brought him." Honestly, in the past, she would never explain herself. She used to just glare and say, "If you hate it, leave." I laughed to myself, totally unsure what to even find funny anymore. The second I stopped caring completely, she magically started giving me excuses. She forgot my special day completely, yet remembered his. "Well, then, enjoy yourselves," I replied super casually, heading straight into the bedroom. The room was basically empty. All the stuff I didn't need daily had already been shipped to my new place. Now, just my clothes and a few books were left. I was wondering about a final cleanup today when the door violently swung wide open. Hunter strutted right inside, holding a tiny piece of cake. He looked around the space, flashing a nasty smirk. "Wow, I'm pretty bare compared to last time. Guess you really are a good little dog, packing your bags." I completely ignored him, texting Ben about my upcoming move. The silent treatment made Hunter furious. Stepping closer, he snapped, "I am talking to you. Are you deaf?" I stared back coldly. "Why do you even care? It is not like you live here." Surprisingly, that one simple truth made him absolutely lose it. His face twisted into pure malice as he raised a hand, lunging for my shirt. "Now watch closely. This is where it gets wild." Hearing footsteps approaching, Hunter smashed his cake and dramatically threw himself onto the floor, faking terror. "Hunter, what is going on?" Olivia shoved the door open, pushing me away to aggressively help him up. I lost my balance, stumbling backward and stepping directly onto a sharp piece of that shattered ceramic plate. It sliced right through my thin slipper, deep into my heel. A nasty red stain started spreading instantly, but Olivia completely ignored me. She was too busy crying over a tiny, barely visible scratch on Hunter's hand. "I am so sorry, CEO Olivia. I made James lose his temper again. It is my big day, and I wanted to share the cake, so I offered him some. I had no idea he would despise it this much." Hunter whined, tearing up as he stared at Olivia with total fake innocence. If I was not the victim here, I might have applauded his Oscar-level acting. The crazy part? I never said I hated cake. Honestly, since I rarely got treats as a kid, I totally loved it. I brought it up every single year. Olivia always used to joke around, saying she had literally never met a guy who adored cake as much as I did. Yet with Hunter standing right there, she suddenly caught total amnesia about my favorites. I absolutely loved it. I mentioned that fact every single year. Olivia would literally laugh, claiming she had never seen a boyfriend who craved birthday cake as much as I did. But with precious Hunter right there, her memory of my favorites vanished entirely. Instead, she just pointed a really furious finger straight at me. "Just because you dislike it does not mean you can smash plates and shove people, James. I genuinely thought you finally learned how to behave. I cannot believe you are still pulling this ridiculous garbage." Apologized to Hunter immediately. Otherwise, I would never marry a pathetic, jealous guy like you. You guys see where this is going, right? Let's break up, she yelled, looking ridiculously dramatic. It sounded exactly like the awful stuff I overheard outside that room. Way back when, during our most explosive fights, she loved using breakups as a heavy threat, and I was too terrified to let go. I always surrendered first, whispering sweet apologies, even completely embarrassing myself by dropping to my knees just to desperately beg her not to leave me. I foolishly believed splitting up was not her actual goal. It was merely her ultimate power move, forcing me to surrender the fight. It took forever to finally realize she probably wanted out the entire time. That is exactly why ending things was constantly sitting on her lying tongue. But honestly, whatever. I was already preparing to leave her anyway. Even if she kept her mouth shut today, I would have done it. Watching me stay completely silent, Olivia smugly thought I was terrified. She softened. You have been acting so weird lately. You're just stressed planning our wedding, right? I know you do not actually want us to split up. Now, apologize to Hunter. Cutting off her incredibly annoying, bossy speech, I dropped the bomb. I agree. The arrogant smirk growing on her face vanished in a second. Total confusion filled her eyes. Wait, what did you say? You wanted to break up. I agree. My voice was ice. You would think she would be happy. I finally agreed, but I heard zero happiness in her voice. Just pure outrage. James, are you completely insane? You want to cancel our engagement over something this small? She stared, absolutely shocked. I laughed. So what do you and I make of this? I literally agreed. Why act completely crazy? Even Hunter seemed totally lost by this huge plot twist. Tugging her sleeve, he whispered, CEO Olivia, did James really quit? Should we wait for him? Shut up. Olivia furiously snapped. This issue is between him and me. You have no right to speak right now. Stick with me here. That was probably the very first time she ever yelled at Hunter. The guy was totally stunned, his jaw literally hanging open. Realizing her loud outburst, Olivia quickly softened her tone, gently whispering to him, I am sorry. I did not mean that. Just wait for me outside. I refuse to drag you into our personal issues. Hunter's eyes turned red. He was clearly unwilling, but smart enough to realize he absolutely could not afford to make Olivia any angrier right now. He obediently stepped out. Once he left, Olivia took a deep, heavy breath. Right as she opened her mouth to speak, her eyes darted straight down. Her tone shifted. Your foot is hurt. Why did you keep quiet? I will get a bandage. She quickly walked right over to the bookshelf. I knew perfectly well. She was just desperately trying to change the subject. Whenever we hit a topic she hated hearing, she would act super caring just to forcefully derail the entire conversation away from the truth. In the past, my foolish heart would soften, drowning in the fake illusion that she cared, burying the actual main problem deep underground. But those conflicts never resolved. They simply rotted away inside me, waiting to be violently dug up later, looking much uglier than before. Where are the bandages? I swear they used to be right here, Olivia muttered, actively rummaging through the shelves. She completely forgot that the very last time she stepped foot inside my room was actually 2 whole years ago. I had a 104-degree fever, yet she ditched me for a date with Hunter. Since then, moved the medkit closer to make it easier for me to grab. James, why is there so little stuff in your room? Olivia finally realized that something was incredibly wrong. Watch closely as I drop this bomb. I am not hiding it anymore. I sold this entire house, I said calmly, handing over the keys in 2 days. Get someone to move your stuff out tomorrow. Olivia desperately tried fixing her shocked expression, looking like she was totally about to explode all over again. But then she suddenly chuckled. Stop messing around. Half of this place is legally mine. Without my signature and permission, how could you possibly sell it? All right, James. I know you are furious. I will tell Hunter to stay far away. Stop throwing these tantrums, okay? She still clearly did not believe me. I simply grabbed the official sales contract from the desk, handing it over. Attached right at the back was her signed power of attorney. The agent confirmed this authorization is enough. By the way, you signed it the day Hunter got arrested. You remember, right? If you forgot, that is absolutely fine. It is legally binding regardless. Olivia grabbed the contract. When she flipped to the final page, her entire body fiercely hitched. After a brief pause, she screamed at me like an absolute maniac. Who gave you the right to sell my house without my permission? I sneered. I did not take a single penny from the company, but I paid for this house using my own money. It is perfectly reasonable for me to decide its fate. Besides, I recall you buying a shiny new house for Hunter in the suburbs very recently. You are not homeless. You can move there, morally and legally. Me selling this house is absolutely fine. You and I expected a clean breakup here, right? Nope. Olivia just stood completely speechless, the color totally draining from her shocked face. But surprisingly, she forced herself to calm down, explaining in a very low voice. That suburban house, I actually wanted to give that to you as a gift. I did not buy it for Hunter. Adding his name was just to make him feel like he belonged somewhere. If it truly bothers you, I can remove his name tomorrow, okay? We have been together for so many long years. How can you just throw away our entire history like this? James, I know you are furious. Just calm down. We will talk tomorrow. With that, she turned and left. This was her classic move. Whenever we hit a boiling point during any fight, she would pretend she still loved me, desperately telling me to just calm down. Every single time I would hypnotize myself, convincing my brain not to act rashly, and then I would crawl back to apologize and patch things up. I truly loved her. Only much later did I realize that she had fully checked out of the relationship. A long time ago. I just could not bear letting go of the years we spent together, always foolishly thinking that if I swallowed my pride and passed this hurdle, things would finally get better. But so much time had passed, and absolutely nothing ever got better. It was all just pathetic wishful thinking on my end. She probably thought I was still wrapped around her little finger, but she was dead wrong. Whatever remaining feelings I had were completely destroyed by her endless, toxic cycle of disappointments. After she left, I cleaned up the shattered ceramic on the floor and bandaged my hurt foot. By the time I walked out of the room, Olivia and Hunter were totally gone. The leftover food was still sitting on the table. A half-burnt candle lay totally extinguished on the wooden floor. I was always the one doing chores because I could never bear letting Olivia lift a single finger. Over time, she got completely used to it. I did not feel like cleaning up now. And that is where we pause. I had to hire cleaners for the house anyway, so they can just handle all this mess tomorrow. Let's dive right into this. After a good night's sleep, our guy steps out of his room the very next morning, only to find the entire place scrubbed, completely spotless. Olivia was right there in the kitchen, super busy. I was just about to wake you, she says, rocking an apron with this perfectly calm smile, honestly. Acting like last night's massive blowout fight didn't even happen. I cleaned everything, even disinfected the whole entire place. In the old days, he definitely would have ignored those muddy streaks from her terrible mopping. He'd just shower her with endless praise to feed her ego, but pretending it was totally fine. But today, he just lets out a dry, dumbfounded laugh, and simply mutters, "Oh." Hearing that cold reaction, Olivia clearly looked disappointed. But she quickly slapped on a fake smile and brought out 2 fresh plates of breakfast. Just made this, try it. He glances down at the plates. 2 cheese sandwiches. Honestly, they looked decent enough. Honestly, this was probably the absolute first time Olivia ever cooked breakfast for him. It should be super touching, right? Except she totally forgot he is severely allergic to cheese. Instantly, Olivia's expression completely dropped. She hurriedly turned to cook something else. "Stop wasting time," he says calmly. "A peaceful breakup is absolutely best for us." He reminds her how, at the party, she perfectly remembered Hunter hates lamb, ginger, and cilantro, but somehow, she completely forgot the time he ate cheese and ended up rushed to the ER with a severe reaction. Now pay attention here. He points out who she really loves. But Olivia? She completely misses the point, just frowning in total frustration. Couples don't hold grudges, James, she yells, saying she lowered herself to do this, asking why he's being so incredibly picky, adding that she's swamped with company work daily. Isn't mixing up ingredients totally normal? He just nods right at her, saying breaking up is also completely normal. Olivia finally snaps, slamming the tray down with a massive bang. She glares at him furiously. Losing all her patience, she storms right out, slamming the door hard behind her, and boom, the Cold War officially begins. Sighing helplessly, he just calls a professional cleaning service anyway, and packs up all of Olivia's stuff. He instantly ships every single box to her suburban house. Since he always packed her bags for business trips, doing this took almost zero time. The whole house handover went super smooth and perfectly on schedule. Olivia finally realizes this breakup isn't some empty bluff. So, she quickly sends him a text message. Getting absolute silence back, she aggressively starts spamming her social media feed with cozy pictures of her and Hunter, but our guy is busy settling into his brand new job. He doesn't even notice until those starred contact notifications pop up. That's when it clicks. One day, it's photos of them at a safari park. The very next, them chilling in a hot air balloon. Then, she brags about the company hitting an $8 million milestone, rewarding Hunter with an epic luxury trip straight to Bali. In those bright photos, she purposely flashes matching couple rings on their fingers, captioning it, "The one truly loved has every right to be totally arrogant," adding that the quiet child who never cries is the one who actually deserves the sweet candy the most. You and I both know her game here, right? She is trying to trigger him, expecting him to get jealous, throw a wild fit, and beg to come back so she can demand strict conditions. But does he actually care? Nope. He's about to close the app entirely, but accidentally double taps a post, leaving a like. Wanting absolutely zero part in that unnecessary drama, he immediately unlikes it, calmly removes her from his starred contacts, and focuses on work. Thanks to him, Ben's company projects are rapidly leveling up. They even managed to land a massive collaboration worth tens of millions. On the exact day, Ben and he are getting ready to meet clients and finalize that contract, Olivia randomly sends a message, a photo. Feeling confused, he opens it up. Staring right back at him is a literal ultrasound report with Olivia's name printed on it. "How does this make you feel?" she texts immediately after. He gives zero reply. Olivia desperately keeps baiting him, saying she's just totally messing around, admitting the report is totally fake, but asking if he was genuinely jealous, demanding to know if he could actually accept her carrying another guy's child. Honestly, he just finds it mildly amusing. He hadn't realized it before, but reading this crazy message, it fully clicked. Usually, seeing her near any other guy would make him mad. His face would flush red, and his heart would absolutely race. But looking in the mirror right now, his expression is completely neutral. Even his smartwatch heart rate monitor proves he is totally calm. The idea of Olivia being with someone else, he has completely and fully accepted it. He wasn't even going to reply, but remembering Hunter's smug taunts, he couldn't stand more of their nonsense. He decides to give some helpful advice, telling her that since she has a new boyfriend, she should probably stop texting about things with absolutely zero boundaries. He might misunderstand, and that is where we leave it. The typing bubble flashes forever before she replies, "But trust me, our guy is completely free. Stick with me." Olivia really thinks James is just putting on an act. She texted, asking why he cared so much if he did not love her, even mentioning a secretly liked post. I just laughed. Back then, Olivia never noticed these tiny details about me at all. Hanging out with Hunter seemed to have surprisingly changed her mindset. 5 whole years together, and she never changed for me, but she did for him. Before I even typed a word, another text popped up. She claimed nothing happened with Hunter recently. She claimed he was just playing along so we could reunite. Supposedly, out of respect for him, she was giving me one final chance. She genuinely believed her little provocations would make me crawl back, but that is fine. Given enough time, she would finally figure things out. I was completely finished with her. Plus, I knew full well she was not clinging onto me out of true love. She was just scared people would gossip if our breakup became public knowledge. Honestly, casually flirting with Hunter was one thing entirely, but actually dumping her fiancé for him was a huge public relations nightmare. I simply ignored her and focused purely on my career. That same evening, Ben and I successfully secured the partnership deal. Ben was absolutely thrilled, dragging me to a fancy dinner with several major industry CEOs. The moment we entered, Ben introduced me as his partner. Those CEOs instantly treated me with absolute respect. I was genuinely flattered. Back in the past, when I attended these dinners with Olivia, she always treated me like some lowly employee who forgot his place. Eventually, those powerful CEOs stopped respecting me, even treating me like a simple errand boy sent to fetch items. I honestly could not blame them. I was the one allowing her to treat me so poorly. After enjoying a few rounds of drinks, everyone was getting along absolutely perfectly. Now, pay close attention here. Out of nowhere, one CEO lowered his voice and asked James, "Did you upset someone? I noticed you were on the industry blacklist." Fearing I might doubt him, he quickly pulled up the file on his phone. It was an internal database helping companies avoid terrible new hires. The management shared a strict blacklist featuring people with severe character flaws or records. My actual name and photo were plastered right there. The reasons listed: insubordination, unable to cooperate, overly aggressive, and terrible character. I absolutely did not even need to guess who did this. Seeing me go completely silent, the CEO stated firmly, "I know you are not that kind of guy. Someone is definitely messing with you. Do not worry, I will wipe your name off right now." He permanently deleted my file immediately. I was incredibly grateful, but I honestly could not help but smile somewhat bitterly. It was fine for me having a powerful friend backing me up, but what about a normal job seeker? Once placed on this horrible list, how could they survive? This blacklist saves companies time, but absolutely nobody ever bothered to fact-check it. Everyone simply made harsh decisions based on prejudice. The innocent workers would only grow desperate. Truly excellent workers, after taking hit after hit, would eventually lose all courage to fight. What could they even do? Noticing we were deep in conversation, Ben threw his arm around our shoulders, happily dragging us back to keep drinking. When the dinner ended, Ben and I escorted them right to their cars. Ben stepped aside to call his girlfriend, while I waited at the hotel entrance for our driver. Soon enough, I heard a familiar voice behind me. "We both expected this, right? James, what are you doing here?" I turned around, spotting Hunter and Olivia standing nearby. Hunter had his hand resting squarely on Olivia's waist. They were glued together like a couple deeply in love. Spotting me, Hunter flashed a totally smug smile and whispered loudly, "CEO Olivia, I get it now. James must be here searching for you. You two chat. I will step away." He pretended to leave, but I could easily tell he had absolutely zero intention of actually walking away. Sure enough, Olivia pulled him close, pressing him against her chest, to clearly show off their intimacy to me. "You are not an outsider. Why avoid him?" She shot me a triumphant glance. "I honestly thought you did not want this chance anymore. So what are you doing here?" She pointed a finger at me. "But let me tell you, it is too late. James, you are out of chances." Her bossy, commanding attitude toward me was a huge contrast to her delicate, helpless little bird routine with Hunter. "I think you misunderstand everything. I was simply here having dinner with a friend." "I am leaving now." "Having dinner with a friend?" Hunter barked a laugh. "Wow, James, I really cannot hold it in. I did not realize that, even after losing your job, you would splurge on a fancy hotel just to eat with a friend." I could clearly hear the mockery in his voice. He was implying I was putting on a pathetic front to save face. "James, I never thought you would sink this low." Olivia glared at me, her eyes adding visible layers of deep disgust. Seeing this, I did not even want to bother explaining myself. She would not believe me anyway. It was a total waste of breath. My silence only made Olivia assume I was guilty, proving Hunter right. She sneered, asking if I regretted leaving her. I just found it hilarious. Trust me, you will want to see what happens next. Stick with me here. She had absolutely zero clue I worked at Ben's company. Not surprising. She never really cared about my life anyway. So, being totally clueless about my career after we broke up? Yeah, totally expected from her. She let out a massive, dramatic sigh. I wasn't going to forgive you, but we were a couple once. It's not like my feelings are completely gone. Since you traveled all this way just to find me, I will generously give you one more chance. Make sure you try hard. Hearing her say that, I raised an eyebrow and looked over at Hunter. He clearly had zero clue Olivia was going to offer this. Pure panic flashed across his face, but he stayed completely quiet. He barely held it together for a second before stammering, "Olivia, you really need to reconsider. Taking back your ex is always a terrible idea." I almost burst out laughing right there. These two were completely on different pages. Olivia completely ignored him. Hunter just laughed coldly and turned his attention to me. "Actually, James, tons of our friends told Olivia to never get back with you. They said to cut her losses immediately. Everyone agrees you are completely unworthy of her now. Do you even realize how many people begged her to dump you back then? If she didn't still feel sentimental about you, she would never have forgiven you over and over. I honestly don't get what you were so unhappy about, or whose lies convinced you to actually break up with her. Everyone knows you were just incredibly lucky. You're the only person who took it for granted." Hunter kept rambling. "Yeah, Leah's net worth was way higher than mine, so she constantly reminded me about our unequal status. She kept me around for nostalgia, charity, and pure pity. Basically everything except genuine love. I used to think she only said those harsh things out of anger. Now pay attention, because this is where it gets good." I was about to speak up, but then Ben's cheerful voice suddenly rang out right beside me. "James, who are these two people? You finally made it." I sighed in relief. Thinking for a quick second, I replied, "Just former colleagues. Met by chance. Last time we went out, she refused to call me her boyfriend, labeling me a colleague instead. I figured she would be absolutely thrilled with that title. Who knew her face would turn incredibly sour hearing that? I haven't even canceled our wedding yet," she snapped. Then she glared over at Ben. "I am the friend he came here to meet." She looked absolutely furious. Hunter was the first one to react, though. He laughed smugly and asked Ben, "Wow, I had no idea James had a buddy rich enough to treat him here. Looks like you have some cash. What exactly do you do for work?" Ben frowned slightly and mumbled to me, "Why does this guy talk like he is missing half his brain cells?" I just smiled. "It is totally fine. You just get used to it." Ben knew Hunter was clearly trying to start trouble. He calmly replied, "Just running a small business. Definitely not rich, just getting by." Hunter looked incredibly smug, scoffing lightly with pure contempt for Ben. "Business is rough these days. It must be super exhausting work, right? Hard-earned cash shouldn't be wasted like this." Ben totally caught the obvious disrespect. "You know exactly what happens next, right?" Instead of answering, he whispered to me, "Got beef with this guy?" I didn't hide a thing. Keeping my voice low so only we could hear, I explained, "That woman is my ex-fiancée, and that clown is her brand new boyfriend." Ben totally knew my history with Olivia and how we built her company. When I joined his team, I never hid the breakup or the dramatic reasons behind it. Ben let out a loud, totally mocking laugh and faced Hunter. "Well, hearing you talk, your money definitely isn't hard-earned. What do you actually do? Based on your whole vibe, you don't seem like a guy with a real career. Let me guess, you just leech off rich women?" He nearly attacked Ben, but Olivia quickly pulled him back. "Cut it out, James. I'm not in a joking mood right now. I know what you actually want. I promise, if you just come back, I will restore your exact position and even toss in an extra 10% company share. Happy now? 10%? Ben practically died laughing. "Sorry, I already recruited him for my own company and gave him 40%. Olivia froze completely for a second, but then she glared and sneered. "James, are you seriously thinking straight? Companies are not equal. A huge percentage means absolutely nothing if the company is pure garbage. She was implying Ben's company was light years behind hers. Honestly, at first, Ben's startup was slightly behind, but the real epic game changer here was their next level tech. Currently, their tech was rapidly improving, and we had just secured a $100 million deal. Ben's company was truly leagues above Olivia's. Now, besides, I highly doubt her business will even survive much longer in this tough market. With her terrible management, total collapse is just a matter of time. But I was way too lazy to explain. Trust me, you and I just know karma's coming. Let's dive right in. She wouldn't listen anyway. Ben didn't even bother arguing. Is the car here yet? He asked nonchalantly, totally ignoring Olivia. I was just about to check the app when a guy in a sleek chauffeur's uniform jogged right over. Boss, I'm the designated driver. You called? Where's your ride? My uniform is pretty flashy. I'd much rather just drive yours. Ben simply gestured toward me. I didn't think much of it at all, and casually tossed the driver my keys. Less than 2 minutes later, he awkwardly pulled up in my top-tier Porsche, parking it right in front of us. Boss, this ride is insane. Must have cost an absolute fortune, right? The driver marveled. I was completely stunned, turning to look directly at Hunter. Hunter's eyes were literally glowing as he stared at the sweet ride. Olivia stood there, deep in thought, clearly processing things. She just looked super grim, then smirked right at me. Not that expensive, just over $2 million. It's a company bonus. Oh, by the way, Ben continued, turning to the driver. My brother here is actually hunting for a full-time driver. Since you two hit it off, interested in the gig? $20,000 a month. I'd be honored. The driver eagerly replied. Are you completely serious? Of course. If you don't believe me, I'll send the contract right now. I promise I'll do an amazing job. Ben and the driver chatted away happily. Olivia just stood off to the side, glaring absolute daggers at me before spinning on her heel and storming off. Hunter quickly scrambled right after her. Meanwhile, Ben and the driver actually finalized the contract on the spot. I was pretty surprised. Watch closely. This is brilliant. Did you actually sign him? Duh. That was the plan all along. You're our tech guy. You'll be out networking and celebrating a ton. You can't just keep calling random designated drivers. Isn't that salary way too high, though? That is way above market rate. Back at Olivia's company, my own salary was only $15,000. Ben totally expected my question. He patted my shoulder. Not high at all, man. When you're completely out of it, this driver holds your safety in his hands. Seeing he had already made up his mind, I didn't even argue. For the next while, we threw ourselves entirely into our project. During my super rare moments of downtime, I noticed Olivia, who previously posted constant updates, had gone totally silent. Even Hunter stayed quiet, no longer even trying to provoke me. I figured Ben's epic little stunt had severely bruised their egos. I completely thought that after that incident, Olivia would finally give up and cut ties. But surprisingly, while we heavily pushed the project forward, Ben suddenly approached me. With a super mysterious look, he whispered, Olivia just called me. Before I could ask anything at all, he looked at me seriously. We both saw this coming. She's definitely coming for you soon. Whatever you choose, I totally support you. Don't worry about here. Of course, I personally hope you don't waver. After dropping that wild, cryptic message, he just walked away, leaving me utterly and completely confused. But I didn't overthink it and simply went right back to work. It wasn't until around noon that I actually received a call from Olivia. The moment I picked up, she wasn't aggressive like before at all. Instead, there was just this rare silence. It was so incredibly quiet. I thought she had actually hung up. But my screen showed the call was still connected. Stop messing around. Can we just make peace? Finally, Olivia's slightly hoarse voice came through the speaker. Honestly, I found the whole thing completely laughable. Did she seriously still think I was just messing around here? I didn't say a single word. Olivia continued, I actually called your friend. He said back then he really wanted you to co-found his company, but you so firmly chose me instead. I never realized you sacrificed so much for me. I completely admit, ever since Hunter joined the company, I've neglected you a whole lot. But we've been together for 5 years. We were literally planning a wedding. Is our relationship really going to end over these last 10 months? Her voice choked up, acting as if she couldn't even get the words out. She paused, remembering the past 5 years. We lived simply, but fully relied on each other, encouraging each other through tough hardships, holding hands to weather the craziest storms. Once, to secure a massive investment, I was forced to drink 3 entire bottles of liquor. By the end, I couldn't even stand up. Right before I completely blacked out, I saw Olivia crying, holding me up, desperately calling out for an ambulance. When I woke up in the hospital and saw her frail figure, it was honestly hard to imagine how she managed to drag me to that ambulance. I was hospitalized for 7 straight days. She juggled company work while taking care of me. Back then, really think she truly loved me. Memories flooded back. I was just about to say something when Hunter's dramatic voice suddenly came, echoing right through the phone. James, please forgive CEO Olivia. I'm so sorry. My presence these past few days caused a misunderstanding, but I really have absolutely no other intentions. If it helps, I'll resign tomorrow. I'll never appear in front of you again. Olivia didn't even stop him, silently agreeing with his words. My feelings were insanely complicated. Now, hearing this, it felt like my relationship had been violently sliced open, and somehow I was the third wheel, just intruding on them. What would him resigning accomplish? That's where we leave it. If he leaves, Hunter becomes Olivia's untouchable, tragic white moonlight forever. You and I know these feelings are only going to grow stronger, eventually exploding with way more intensity than now. I let out a dry chuckle. All right, I can agree, but I have one massive condition. Name it, Olivia demanded, her voice sounding like a hero marching straight toward a triumphant victory. I smirked. Give me half the company's shares and half of all your personal assets. I knew perfectly well Olivia would never agree. Did she seriously not understand that her shares and massive assets were the only reasons Hunter was with her anyway? Sure enough, there was nearly 5 minutes of absolute dead silence on the line. Finally, Hunter couldn't hold back his fake righteous indignation. James, your condition is absolutely outrageous. Olivia built this massive company from absolutely nothing. It wasn't easy, and with just one simple sentence, you want to steal half her assets? You're a man, aren't you ashamed of yourself? I honestly couldn't be bothered to expose his true motives. I nonchalantly replied to Olivia, we're all adults here. You win some, you lose some. Watch closely here. You want everything your way, but refuse to lose anything in return. Why should you get to have your cake and eat it too? Think carefully about what you want to choose. I'll give you exactly 3 days. I hung up immediately. I figured Olivia would totally give up, but that evening, she called again. She claimed half was way too much. Could she offer 20%? I told her point blank, half is half. Not a single penny less. If you can't do it, stop calling. But this whole situation left me puzzled. Olivia clearly didn't want to break up anymore. But wait, wasn't she the one who originally wanted to break up? That day at the hotel, she claimed she was afraid people would overthink things. But I was actually the one who finally initiated the breakup. Plus, that lame excuse wasn't strong enough to make her act this desperate. I didn't dwell on it. 3 days passed, and Olivia completely went silent. The project was officially wrapping up, and we successfully passed the final review. Ben invited everyone to a massive celebration dinner. We partied hard, and by the time I finally got home, it was the middle of the night. I had just showered and was about to go to bed when my phone suddenly rang. It was Olivia. Annoyed that my precious sleep was getting interrupted, I meant to decline the call, but I was still pretty tipsy, and my vision was blurry. I accidentally hit answer. Hello, are you CEO Olivia's boyfriend? Miss Olivia is quite drunk at our establishment and refuses to go home. We found your number in her phone. We're really worried something bad might happen to her. Could you please come pick her up? I sobered up a bit. Sorry, please find someone else. but Miss Olivia is desperately insisting that you simply must come get her. She claimed if you don't come and something happens, you're going to be held fully responsible. The guy on the other end sounded so panicked, I actually burst out laughing. Let's see what happens. Send me the location now. The caller sounded super relieved, quickly added my number and sent a pin. I glanced at it, then dialed the cops, explained the situation and location, muted my phone, and happily went to sleep. When I finally woke up, I saw Olivia had called me over 10 times and sent dozens of frantic texts. They ranged from pure shock that I called the cops to furious messages calling me a cold-hearted monster who only cared about money and had zero feelings. By the end, she had completely broken down, loudly asking why I was treating her like this. She claimed she only made a tiny mistake anyone could make, that she never actually cheated on me, and loudly demanded to know why I was being so incredibly heartless. Before I even finished reading her crazy messages, she called again. I was totally going to answer and just lay everything directly on the table, knowing if I didn't, she would literally never stop harassing me. I hit accept. Olivia's hoarse, emotionally wrecked voice finally came through. James, I've thought it through. I admit, you totally win. I can't leave you. Half the shares are yours. Half the assets under my name are also yours. Just please come back. I glanced at the date. It was day 5. Sorry, the 3 days are completely up. I changed my mind. Olivia tried to say something, but suddenly broke into a super violent coughing fit. After a long while, the coughing subsided and her voice sounded absolutely, completely wrecked. How did you become like this? I just laughed silently. Wasn't this exactly how she used to act? She constantly used the lame excuse that I missed deadlines to dock my bonuses and salary, and then literally handed my amazing project straight over to Hunter. I was just giving her a perfect taste of her own medicine. Clearly, it really hurts when you're the one getting betrayed. She seemed to understand, and she finally realized that my ultimate goal was never actually her massive assets. She let out a bitter, self-deprecating laugh. I don't even recognize you anymore, James. She started coughing violently again, her breathing incredibly heavy. She really sounded like she was in immense pain. We've all been there, right? I almost asked what was wrong, but stopped, worried she'd think I still cared. I decided to stay completely quiet, but she seemed to know exactly what I was thinking. She softly started talking to herself. I have a fever, James. I am at our old house. I bought it back recently, she said. You and I both know this trick. She asked if I felt this miserable when I was sick and alone. I stayed perfectly silent, but she just kept on rambling. She panicked because all the special paintings I drew for her were completely gone. She searched the whole place desperately, asking if I had hidden them somewhere. Did I throw them away? She rambled on like a lost child, her voice shaking and sounding more absolutely pitiful. I heard frantic rustling through the phone. She was likely tearing the entire house apart looking for them. I sighed. I burned them. They are completely destroyed. She let out a sudden, sharp laugh that stopped. A very soft sob echoed through the speaker. She cried that every single corner held memories of our past life together, yet she could not find one trace of us actually living there. How could I be so cruel? I sold the house, scrubbed it completely clean, and walked away so incredibly decisively. What was she supposed to do now? She even removed Hunter's name from the suburban house, desperately wanting to make things right again. Why would I not give her a second chance? Her crying grew much louder, and her voice sounded completely hoarse. If this were the old days, my heart would break. I honestly hated seeing her upset or hurting. But now, I knew perfectly well she was not crying out of true guilt. She was just feeling emotionally fragile because of her sudden illness. Given a second chance, she would make those exact same choices. I told her to stop trying and call Hunter for a ride to the hospital. I have to work. Hanging up now. I refused to entertain her any further and just ended the call. When I finally decided to let her go, I promised never to look back. Her living a good or bad life meant absolutely nothing to me anymore. Now watch this incredible turn of events. I washed up, drove to work, and immediately noticed a super festive atmosphere. Before I could even ask anything, Ben grabbed my arm enthusiastically. Our first project officially launched. In just 2 hours, we hit 80 million views. The client was thrilled and decided to sign a long-term contract with us. This client was a giant in the industry. Securing a long-term deal with them was simply unbelievable. That month, Ben gave the entire project team a huge raise, boosting everyone's morale much higher. I took the bonus money, previous savings, and the cash from selling my old house to buy a brand new place. This time around, I picked a spot completely based on my own style. It was far from the busy city, right beside a huge lake, featuring an absolutely breathtaking window view. I spent my free time sketching the interior design plans. I had personally designed my old house too, honestly. Back then, Olivia despised other people's designs, and I just happened to know exactly what she liked. I even took a 2-month design course, enduring her endless criticisms and constant revisions just to achieve the perfect look for that old house. Not to brag, but that house was perfectly tailored for Olivia's unique tastes. So when she told me she bought it back, I never thought she felt nostalgic. I just assumed she bought the place because it was comfortable for her. Now, I was finally designing a comfortable space just for myself. After wrapping the blueprints, I handed them to a reliable contractor. After work, I would visit to check the progress and lend a hand. After a few days of endless running around, my body simply could not keep up. One day, while heading upstairs, I tripped and fractured my leg. While recovering, I had to stop visiting the site so often. Ben told me to rest up and promised to keep a close eye on the ongoing construction for me. Honestly, I was just incredibly excited to see what the finished house would look like. But here's where things get completely crazy again. Driving into the garage today, I just could not resist checking the place out, only to spot a familiar figure standing by a car. Olivia stood there wearing a trench coat and mask. She looked much more haggard than before, with faint dark circles resting under her tired eyes. I paused briefly before walking over. "What are you doing here?" I wasn't surprised she found this place. Her network was absolutely massive. Finding out a simple piece of information required zero effort. In the past, she was just way too lazy to waste any effort on me. She said she needed to talk. Her voice sounded raspy, like she hadn't fully recovered from being sick. "Let's talk in the car. I heard about your new house and just wanted to come help out." "No need. Just say what you need to say right here." I rejected her offer, but she seemingly anticipated my cold reaction. She maintained control over her emotions, though a quick trace of deep sorrow flickered inside her eyes. Then, she slowly handed me a file folder. "This is your compensation," she whispered. "I admit, for the past 5 years, I owe you completely. I owe you so much. At work and at home, you literally sacrificed everything, and I failed to repay you in time. Take this contract. Consider it my ultimate compensation for the last 5 years. From now on, I will never bother you again." I paused, silently taking the file from her hands. Inside was a meticulously detailed record of every single time she unfairly fined me at work. Every single stolen proposal and stripped bonus was paid double. "Trust me, you and I will love this ending. Stick with me here." She actually offered compensation for mistreating me these past 5 years. And tucked way in the back, a bank card. The PIN code, my exact birthday. Honestly, I couldn't help but just stare right at her. Was this another clever trap, or had she finally given up for good? "You promised not to bother me anymore. I really hope you mean that." Olivia read my mind perfectly. She answered flatly, "I thought about it. It is time to move on entirely." "Good." I nodded, taking the file and card without any fuss. After all, these things rightfully belong to me. Plus, I knew taking this was the only way Olivia would finally understand that we were completely over for good. As expected, profound loss flashed across her eyes when I took it, though she hid it fast. "So, can I see your new house? I have struggled immensely since leaving you. I simply want to see how you are doing without me around." I knew this was merely a pathetic excuse, her last stubborn cling, but I understood her personality. Once she decided on a plan, she had to finish it, or she would never let go. I wanted zero drama, since we were practically never seeing each other again. Granting one final clean ending was the absolute best option. Now watch this closely. Let us go, I said, but Olivia suddenly dashed out in front, trying to steer me toward her own car instead. Let me drive you instead. Your leg is still hurt, making it extremely unsafe to drive yourself. I agreed, slightly shocked she even noticed my leg. Honestly, the old me would have been thrilled. Sadly, we could never, ever go back. Late appreciation means absolutely nothing now. Staying silent, I simply followed Olivia to her car. I casually opened the passenger door, but sitting right there on the seat was a tiny plush doll, perfectly strapped in with the seatbelt. It had a tag reading Hunter, with a clear note. Whenever I am gone, this doll keeps Olivia company. It even featured a cute winking face. Olivia had clearly completely forgotten this toy was here. Spotting it, she looked incredibly awkward. No worries, I will sit in the back, I said, stepping away. But Olivia panicked, aggressively ripping the little doll out of the seatbelt and tossing it backward. Her swift, violent reaction completely shocked me. Honestly, Hunter always absolutely loved showing off secretly. He used to wear her hair tie on his wrist or purposefully drop named trinkets all around her office. His stuff miraculously appeared in our home too. He grabbed every chance to spark extreme jealousy and break me. Initially, completely missed his sneaky game. I fought with Olivia, furiously trashing his random little items. Then one awful day, Olivia slapped me hard. Are you insane, James? He is young, but means well. I only keep him around so he stays motivated. Why so jealous? Do you even realize how incredibly pathetic and petty you look? You and I both know how much that hurts. But then it clicked. This was exactly what Hunter wanted. My absolute surrender. You honestly do not need to do that, I told Olivia quietly. We literally have zero ties to each other anymore anyway. His stuff being here does not matter to me. Olivia nervously bit her lip. I know you completely doubt me, and I know your thoughts, but I swear, even after breaking up, I am never, ever dating Hunter. I already said I lack romantic feelings for him. It is just that seeing him reminds me of your past self, totally alone and deeply helpless. That is exactly why I helped him. I laughed out loud, mocking her. A speech that insanely self-righteous? Maybe I would buy it, but did she forget? While pouring all her fake compassion on Hunter, I became the one left truly helpless and alone. Spouting this nonsense now meant absolutely nothing. Let us leave. I turned to Olivia, ready to warn her that Hunter was watching us. But before speaking, a massive crash echoed right behind me. A thermos hit the ground. Then came Hunter, yelling furiously. Olivia, did you not say you were terribly sick? Why are you here? I spun around to find Hunter frozen just steps away, his face painted with pure shock and brutal heartbreak. Down at his feet, the dented thermos leaked warm porridge into a totally pathetic mess. I genuinely could not tell if his pain was real or just another dramatic performance. I glanced at Olivia. For a tiny split second, she panicked like she got caught cheating. But almost instantly she locked right back into her freezing cold attitude. Watching this, I almost laughed. Clearly, her grand speech about lacking feelings for him was pure delusional nonsense. Deep down, her actions proved otherwise. Why are you here? Olivia asked calmly. Standing there, Hunter looked absolutely, heartbreakingly wrong. You were terribly sick days ago, face completely swollen. I was going crazy with worry, so I cooked porridge, wanting to nurse you back. But reaching your apartment, I saw you speeding off. I was so anxious, I followed right behind you. So what do you and I make of this drama? He squatted down, cleaning the mess, looking utterly defeated, acting like he just survived a massive emotional blow. Just wild. Olivia's face shifted slightly. Stick with me here. She almost spoke, but Hunter rudely interrupted. CEO Olivia, totally get it. I hope you and James get back together. It is only right you treat him well. I was just acting childish. You two go ahead. I will clean this up and leave. Saying that, he dramatically stared at the plush toy tossed violently in the back. then sadly looked down to wipe up the spilled porridge. Seeing his fake innocent act, Olivia totally looked like she was internally struggling. She stepped closer, then hesitated. "You should head back first. I will have someone no need." Hunter shook his head. "CEO Olivia, you really do not need to worry. I am definitely not a little kid who needs your care anymore. When you fell sick, I literally cared for you for days. I know how to clean a mess." Mentioning that past care, massive guilt visibly washed right over Olivia's expression. Still, she forcefully made herself look away from him. "Get in the car," she told me, pulling open the door. I refused to get in. "I will drive myself. Go care for him. We are already broken up. You do not need to perform the silly show for me anymore." Right when I dropped that truth, I saw pure shock flash in Hunter's eyes. He stared at us, his voice completely dripping with fake innocence. "You guys broke up? Why? James, are you still mad at me? Did I show up at a bad time? This has literally nothing to do with you." "We broke up amicably," Olivia replied, turning to face me. "I said I was taking you to see the house. No matter what happens right now, I keep my promise. Now watch this part closely." Right after she spoke, Hunter screamed and just dropped to the floor, grabbing his chest. "Hunter, what happened?" Olivia's face went totally ghost white. Without hesitating, she sprinted over and pulled him up, her eyes full of absolute panic. Hunter lay on the cold ground, pale and silent. Olivia grew super frantic, practically carrying him straight toward her car. Right as she was about to shove him into the back, she suddenly remembered I was standing there and gave me this hesitant look. I knew exactly what she was thinking. Saving a life is way more important. Take him to the hospital. Olivia bit her lip, finally making her dramatic choice. "Just wait at your new house. Once he is at the hospital, I will find you." With that, she bundled Hunter inside, jumped into the driver's seat, and sped off. Watching her car completely disappear, I honestly felt totally calm. I do not know if Olivia noticed, but it was super obvious to me that Hunter was totally faking it. But it was not my business anymore. I was just about to drive to my new place when Ben suddenly called. Turns out our second gaming project went completely viral. After launching, pulling in a massive fanbase. Now, huge foreign tech firms wanted to negotiate massive partnerships. Ben needed me to pack immediately and fly overseas for an epic business trip. I agreed without hesitating and drove straight to the airport. This new schedule was brutally sudden. The exact second we landed, we threw ourselves into organizing proposals and prepping translations. We barely knew these huge foreign firms, so to avoid getting crushed, we had to cram constantly. We outlined every single advantage our company had. Ben and I were incredibly busy, sleeping 4 hours daily. Sometimes I literally just fell asleep standing up. Thankfully, all that brutal work paid off. After the final meeting, the translator said the clients were deeply impressed by our thorough preparation and flawless execution, and they totally agreed to partner up. Ben was so thrilled, he practically tackled me, cheering. That night, we finally got some amazing sleep. I had not even checked my phone for days. Can you believe this? I finally checked my phone and found massive spam texts and missed calls from Olivia since I flew out. She said she went to my new house and demanded why I was missing. I genuinely never expected her to actually go looking for me. After all, whenever Hunter had a tiny crisis before, she always completely left me behind. I thought about it and chose to ignore her. It had been days. She probably stopped caring anyway. Besides, our relationship was completely over. Talking about this drama was utterly pointless. Ben and I spent a couple days sightseeing at cool local tourist spots before flying back home. By the time our flight landed, it was super late. We parted ways and headed straight to our own homes. I had just collapsed onto my huge, comfortable bed when violent knocking suddenly echoed from my door. The sound was incredibly loud in that empty hallway, looking like someone was trying to smash the door down in pure, unhinged rage. Thinking some psycho was trying to break in, I stomped over and threw the door open. Before I could even react, a figure lunged forward. I could not dodge fast enough, getting shoved hard against the wall. A heavy alcohol stench mixed with the very familiar sweet perfume hit me. If not Olivia, who else? I felt a massive surge of pure helplessness. Why are you showing up here again? Did we not make it completely clear that we are totally done with each other? Olivia just let out a loud, drunken hiccup. So what do we think? She slurred. Hunter and I are official now. Are you happy? Let's jump into this. She stared with desperate eyes, wanting to see me show pain or jealousy. But you and I know better. I gave her absolutely nothing. Her dating Hunter? Totally expected. Her love life meant zero to me now. So why was she standing at my door, showing up drunk in the middle of the night? Does your boyfriend know you are here? I will call him. I wanted zero drama. I pulled my phone out to call Hunter, but Olivia went completely feral. She violently snatched my phone and chucked it right out the door. It hit the floor and shattered instantly. Do you honestly feel absolutely nothing? She screamed at me. Do you even know I waited for you all night? And you totally stood me up. You even flew out of the country just to hide from me. She let out this deranged laugh, pointing a shaking finger at me, while swaying around. James, you are such a liar. I regret ever dating you. If I knew you were this cold, I would have dumped you from the very beginning. She was literally shrieking like a maniac. I worried she would wake up the neighbors, but closing the door might escalate things. Thankfully, Hunter came sprinting up the stairs at that exact moment to save the day. He shot me a super toxic glare, then instantly switched to his pathetic, whimpering act while grabbing her arm. Olivia, you drank way too much. Let me take you home. Seeing him, Olivia regained some ego and finally calmed down. Now watch this part closely. You will really want to see this. She gave me one last intense look before letting Hunter carry her away. After that crazy night, I barely heard anything about Olivia. Occasionally, Hunter posted these super cringe couple photos, but they always got deleted within just minutes. Soon after, his account completely vanished. I heard from mutual friends that Olivia's company was heavily failing. Because she completely ignored her managing duties, the business was absolute chaos. Making matters way worse, Hunter abused his power and bullied everyone, causing a massive employee walkout. Olivia desperately tried to fix things, but it was already too late. A bunch of my old colleagues even reached out to Ben and me. They were awesome engineers from my team. Ben and I happily hired them. Through them, I heard all the juicy drama. Apparently, Olivia and Hunter fought all the time. Sometimes they would literally scream at each other right inside the office. At first, Hunter would apologize, but eventually, he just started slamming desks and screaming right back at her. Once, things got so crazy that Hunter secretly changed a huge proposal before sending it to a client. This massive mistake cost the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. Absolutely furious, Olivia fired him immediately. But somehow, they were still living together, and their relationship grew even more toxic. One time, I even saw them at the hospital. They clearly got into a bad fight. Even my old coworkers felt terrible for her. I just felt extremely lucky that I stayed smart and escaped that mess when I did. The Olivia now was totally unrecognizable from the woman I knew. That company was completely doomed. And honestly, you and I both know I would be stuck in that endless nightmare too, if I stayed. I kept my mouth shut. Olivia chose this terrible path. Her success was her own doing, and her downfall was totally on her. She chose wrong and refused to turn back. Meanwhile, Ben's company was absolutely booming. The overseas project finished perfectly, and we scored another massive contract. In just 3 short months, we smashed our goals. Ben and I started talking about expanding. We were totally synced up, but after checking the risks, we decided to wait. We debated for days, always challenging each other. But Ben was different from Olivia. He was never blindly stubborn. When Olivia and I argued about work, she forced things her way, no matter who was right or wrong. If I did not back down, the project completely stalled. Ben actually listened to my ideas, analyzed them, and gave awesome feedback. Our little arguments only made us stronger. Today, after another epic brainstorming session with Ben, came home totally exhausted. The new house was fully furnished and ready. I relaxed in the bathtub, feeling all my stress vanish. I was just thinking about our next huge business move when my phone suddenly rang. I dried my hands and grabbed it. The screen said Olivia. Wait, what? We had not seen each other in 6 whole months, since Hunter dragged her out of my apartment. Sometimes we would randomly bump into each other at big events, but I just nodded and walked away. But every single time, I felt Hunter's insanely toxic glare on my back. I get a new boyfriend hating an ex, but after all this time, with him getting everything he wanted, why was he still holding such a massive grudge? Wondering what she could possibly want now, I answered it. James, a pipe burst in my house. Can you please come help me fix it? Her voice was super raspy, like she had been crying. What do you and I make of this? Why was she calling me? Stick with me here, because this gets wild. In the past, I'd always run home to fix her broken stuff, but we were completely done. Calling me was totally out of line. I stayed quiet for a bit before Olivia finally spoke up. Hunter and I split 2 days ago. I kicked him out of the company. Total silence since then. I was genuinely shocked. Then, she sobbed. I tried getting a plumber, but it is way too late. James, I know you hate me right now, but I have absolutely zero options left. It is so incredibly late, and nobody else will help. She let out 2 dry coughs. Over the phone, a howling wind echoed loudly. My gut flared up immediately. Something felt completely wrong. Where exactly are you right now? She paused. Wild memories flashed back to our startup's early days. Thanks to one massive strategic disaster, our business crashed hard. Olivia completely lost her mind. One dark night, she left a goodbye note and climbed onto the window ledge. I found her just in time, or the ending would have been tragic. I honestly believed she grew up after that, but clearly, she could still do something completely reckless. If I didn't know the risks, I would have just ignored her. But knowing she might be in real danger, could not just walk away. I sighed hard. Wait there. I grabbed my jacket and drove over. Pushing the door open, I saw Olivia's eyes all swollen from heavy crying. Now watch closely. Things are about to get interesting. A pipe actually burst, flooding the entire floor. But guess what? Just a loose valve. I snatched a wrench, twisted it tight a few times, and boom, problem solved. This building has amazing waterproofing, so the floors below are perfectly safe. Just mop up this mess and you are good to go, I told her, standing up. But before I could even take 2 steps, she wrapped her arms tightly around me. James, you still care about me, right? Otherwise, you would not be here. I am so sorry. I messed up. I know I was completely wrong. Can we just go back to how everything used to be? I pushed her away immediately. You are totally mistaken. I don't do favors. The plumbing fee is $100. Cash, Venmo, or Zelle. Olivia stared at me, her lips trembling wildly. Seeing I was serious, she sent me $10,000 flat. Keep it. I instantly sent back $9,900, flashing my screen. We are totally even now. Even, she mumbled twice, letting out a bitter, sad laugh. I completely ignored her and walked straight out the front door. I took my $100, bought a tasty sausage next door, fed a cute stray cat, and drove home. You and I both thought she gave up, right? Think again. A month later, her company hit me with a massive lawsuit. They claimed the evidence was rock solid. Fake orders, forged bank transfers, and a security video. It was recorded the exact night I went to fix her pipe. The footage was brutally chopped up. It highlighted me grabbing tools, making it look like I was digging through her private stuff. Olivia spun a crazy lie, saying I hunted for top-secret company files. The leaked video totally blew up online. Since our new project was super famous, angry rivals happily threw gasoline on the fire. The totally clueless public ate it up. People tracked my career, saw I moved to a rival team, compared our massive growth, and falsely decided I definitely stole their core trade secrets. An angry internet mob demanded I get banned from the industry forever. The cops brought me in. When I spotted Olivia there, dodging my eyes completely, everything finally clicked. You two never really broke up, did you? I asked her directly. The real thief who stole those secrets and nearly destroyed your company was. Actually, Hunter, that night, you faked the broken pipe just to make me the perfect scapegoat for your shady little scheme. I calmly exposed the entire setup. Back at her place, I spotted multiple huge red flags. Men's shoes by the door, bathroom trash evidence, and blue velvet curtains hanging up. A fabric Olivia absolutely hated. I ignored it back then, guessing her tastes just shifted after dating that guy Hunter. But clearly, some habits never change. James, I really did not want to do this, she whimpered. But he is younger than you. He has endless chances ahead. I cannot let one tiny mistake destroy his entire future. And what about my future? I snapped back. I will be labeled a dirty thief. I worked beside you for 5 long years, built your empire from scratch, and you crush me without a single second thought. So what do you and I learn here? Never forget who saved you. Olivia flinched hard, her body instinctively shrinking completely back. Stick with me here, you and I are diving into an intense story. She grew up poor, facing harsh treatment from her parents. She got accepted to college, but her awful family dragged her straight back to sell her off for cash. I emptied my entire savings account to pay off her massive family debt, finally buying her total freedom. Holding me close, she cried, and promised that we would strongly rely on each other for our entire lives. But then, she cruelly tossed me aside for another guy, to hide his awful crimes. She was literally pushing me over the edge. I just stared, desperately clinging to one tiny, final sliver of hope. Her lips slowly parted, and she delivered the final blow with freezing coldness. Consider this my final payment to you. She just turned and walked away. Watching her slowly leave, every single drop of affection I had left simply vanished. Little did she know, the person actually being thrown over the edge was her, not me. 1 week later, the intense trial kicked off. Because Ben ran a huge company, the live-streamed case grabbed massive online attention. Her lawyer showed the evidence, perfectly outlining their carefully crafted setup. Olivia sat quietly right beside him, absolutely refusing to look back. Hunter sat in the crowd, flashing that incredibly smug and totally annoying smirk, acting like my guilty verdict was absolutely guaranteed. But when Ben revealed the solid evidence we secretly prepared, they both completely froze. Ben hit play on a recording. It was a crystal clear conversation between them. Now, pay close attention. This is where everything completely shatters. Everyone heard Hunter selling the corporate secrets for cash. This caused a lost deal and triggered a massive, absolutely catastrophic, breach of contract, penalty fine. On the tape, Hunter was crying hard. Olivia, I am young and carrying our baby. Do you really want our poor baby growing up without a dad? I know I messed up. You can hit me. You can scold me or hurt me, but please do not ever leave me. Then came a loud slap sound. Knowing Hunter, he probably grabbed her hand and forcefully slapped his own face hard. He was a master victim. Up in the gallery, all that smugness totally vanished from his face, quickly replaced by pure, ghost white panic. He literally could not sit still. No way, that audio tape is fake. They edited it. He flailed his arms, trying to rush the front to grab the evidence. But the court security firmly pinned him down. Fine, okay, I will help you. But this is the final time. Her freezing, definitive voice echoed loudly from the speakers, sealing their fate. Absolute chaos. You and I both saw that coming, right? The online crowd completely flipped, tearing into them both while Hunter totally lost his freaking mind. His eyes went wide as he screamed, desperately struggling against the tough guards, violently thrashing and begging Olivia to fix things. Olivia slowly stood up and walked toward him. The guards, noticing her totally calm vibe, stepped aside. Hunter fully thought she wanted to plan a strategy. He sighed in relief, his face instantly lighting up as he urgently whispered, Olivia, hurry up and clear all this up. Tell them the audio is fake. You have to stay rational. You and James are already done. Do not feel bad anymore. Before he could even finish, Olivia raised her hand and fiercely slapped his face with absolutely everything she had. Her voice was crystal clear and super steady. The recording is totally real. I admit it. I intentionally framed James to protect Hunter. Every single person in the room heard it. The chat exploded, demanding prison time for both of them. Hunter suffered a complete, total mental breakdown. Screaming like a wild animal, he violently broke free and lunged straight forward to grab her. Security quickly tackled him, pinning his face hard right against the floor. Olivia slowly walked over, asking how I knew to prepare a solid defense. With a totally calm face, I told the truth. Shortly after leaving her, Ben actually discovered their wild scheme and seriously warned me to stay careful. The night I went to fix her pipe, I knew it was a trap, but I went anyway to easily gather all my own evidence. After our huge project blew up, Ben and I actually planned to acquire her failing company, but we were just waiting for the perfect moment. By pulling this wild stunt, she basically handed us the ultimate opportunity on a platter. I hesitated a tiny bit initially, but her absolute ruthlessness at the station totally finalized my choice. I spoke quietly, word by word. Olivia just smiled so calmly. I see. Just looking at that weird smile made the hairs on my neck rise. A sudden blinding flash of bright light caught my eye. Olivia had a sharp tool totally hidden away. Wait! I started to shout, but it was way too late. Olivia spun around with terrifying speed, lunging straight toward where Hunter was still pinned down. In one incredibly swift motion, she aggressively brought the blade down, a brutal strike to his neck. His eyes went wide, and seconds later, he was lying totally motionless in red. The entire courtroom erupted into absolute chaos. What do you and I make of this? The guards froze, totally stunned. Stick with me to see pure madness. Before they could disarm her, Olivia didn't hesitate, instantly turning that sharp blade directly on herself. Hitting the floor, she looked straight at me with a smile. I read her lips perfectly. James, this is the very last mess I'll cause you. Ambulances arrived super fast, rushing them both away. Sadly, Hunter was already gone upon arrival. Olivia lost massive vitality, but was miraculously revived. Tragically, the little baby simply didn't make it. After recovering, she was instantly arrested for that terrible crime, completely convicted, and given the maximum penalty. Once public opinion totally flipped back to our side, Ben officially dropped his plan to take over Olivia's company. He totally agreed with me. Profiting off a tragedy like that felt completely wrong. We stuck to our path, slowly building our empire. Then, weirdly, Olivia's lawyer called me weeks later. He revealed she wrote a will, transferring all her remaining shares directly to my name. Since she was locked away, everything she owned was mine. I pondered this for weeks. Eventually, I rebranded the entire business model. This new company focused on uncovering the real truth behind blacklisted workers, offering highly affordable background checks for totally normal, hardworking people who got unfairly ruined by incredibly toxic bosses. Enjoying my penthouse city view, life was finally perfect. But watch closely, because Olivia's side of this wild breakup changes absolutely everything. Every single day after that split, Olivia existed in pure panic and heavy regret. She confessed to pitying Hunter and favoring him, but James was always her truest love. In her messed up mind, those things never clashed. Whenever Hunter asked about dumping James, she completely brushed him off, telling him to wait. She truly thought no matter how long Hunter waited, she'd never actually leave James behind. 5 whole years together, she was totally convinced James would never throw their history away. So when James finally agreed to split, she laughed it off, thinking he was just whining. It wasn't until she noticed how incredibly cold and distant he became. Looking into his eyes and seeing absolutely zero warmth left, that pure panic finally set in. She frantically tried winning him back, but he ruthlessly rejected her every time. Hunter jumped in to help, swearing that guys understood guys perfectly. You and I both saw this coming, right? Flaunting that fake relationship and sending ultrasound pictures. Every toxic game she played just pushed James so much further away. When James completely ghosted her and left the country, she emotionally shattered. She couldn't grasp why getting his attention required acting so pathetic. Blinded by a drunken fury, she actually agreed to date Hunter, Finding out James finally came back, she instantly got blackout drunk again. Her memory was entirely blurry, except Hunter dragging her away. Weeks later, discovering her actual pregnancy hit hard. While her entire company was violently crashing, she stayed awake for endless nights tracking those vicious leaks, only to uncover that Hunter was actively destroying her entire life's work. She completely collapsed. Hunter groveled on his knees, and ridiculously, she felt slight pity and shielded him. Since James was highly successful now, she thought, taking the fall wouldn't completely ruin James. While Hunter was way too young and desperately needed a solid second chance. That night, James arrived to fix her pipes. He even carried her trash outside. From her dark bedroom balcony, she quietly watched him crouch down to feed a stray. Right after James drove off, Hunter strutted down the street. Pausing for 2 seconds, he violently kicked that innocent cat while it was eating. In that split second, sheer clarity finally struck her brain. She instantly understood Hunter was completely toxic to his core. She also realized this was her last escape. Looking back on everything, she realized she never actually did a single thing for James. So what do we learn here? Dragging Hunter down was her absolute only way to pay for those mistakes.